Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one, the only Robert Brotherton.
Good morning,
What's
David.
what is going on? Welcome, My
Thank
Unorthodox
you.
Life season 2. There's a lot going on, right?
So much going on. My God, this season could not have been more different than season one. What a whirlwind.
I mean, well, look, that's the thing. Normally, when someone's here, I ask, like, how is this season different for you? But I mean, we have a whole group, all of you. This season is just so different than season one.
Truly, truly. Season one was like we're living like the best possible life. Season two is like bomb goes off.
A, a bomb has gone off. I mean, listen, you've kind of been with Julia since the beginning. Like, did you ever think that when you took a job at Elite that it would lead to all of this, like a Netflix show?
Definitely not. I was always in marketing and public relations for the most part, and we're kind of behind the scenes people. I mean, I'm fun. I have a fun personality, but never ever did I want or think I would ever be in a TV show. So it's been quite the unexpected journey.
I mean, your story really has been featured, a lot more this season. Like, was that like a conscious decision? Like, did it take convincing? Like, did you not want to put, because, like, right, a lot of PR and marketing people are kind of, behind the scenes. And even if they are on a TV show, it's one thing to have your whole life out there, right?
Yeah, it really for me started kind of season one, halfway through filming the season. I don't know what kind of triggered, but all of a sudden, halfway through season one, everyone was a little bit more interested in what I was doing. And so at that point, I said to myself, if I'm going to do this, then let me really do it and not be, just like a sidekick character. So I just tried to be as vulnerable and open about the shit going on in my life as I possibly could be. And then season two, I didn't have to try at all because there we were, like standing in the middle of like ground zero, with cameras rolling. So I just tried to smile and go on.
We saw you go home to see your family in Texas this season. Like, what is your family? Like, what do your friends think about you being on this show?
They think it's crazy. They absolutely think. I mean, I remember when I was trying to convince my mom to like, hey, we would like to come to Texas. We're going to go to Austin. We're going to see where Julia's from, and I'd really love to bring everyone home. She was really open to it, but then like when I was like, and we're going to stay at the house, she was like, everyone. And I just kind of told her, I was like, we're coming. Good luck. So they think I'm crazy. They think it's ridiculous, but I'm just trying to have fun with it. And at the end, I think everyone sees the finished product and it's a really nice story. And I think everyone, just the way my family reacts to Julia's family was so beautiful when I saw it on screen. I think it came out beautifully.
It did come out beautifully. I mean, we saw early on in the season, I have watched all 9 episodes. I could not stop. I've binged them. Sometimes I watch one episode to do this job, but this was like, no, I'm going to literally sit here and watch all of them.
Misery loves company, and this is like very bingeable.
Seriously. I mean, we saw early on in the season, you went through, like, you got completely resculpted, you got new abs, you got an ass. I mean, talk to me about that and just like not being comfortable in your own body. And like, I
Yeah.
mean, that stemmed from childhood.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like a lifelong thing. I've never like felt good in my own skin. I always felt, in business and work, I felt like a king. But the minute I become, it's more of a personal, it's a relationship, it's in front of people, and it's really not about me being a boss or being in charge, then I immediately feel uncomfortable. And probably from the point I had the surgery, rewind, I had lost about 80 pounds. So that's amazing, and I felt great about that. But that also leaves your body looking very differently. So you see that on the screen. Looking at it, you see all this skin. I was still, I still had weight to lose, but for me, it's been incredibly positive. I would not do it. I mean, I would not change a thing.
Really? Because listen, I'm a gay man in New York. I've had a little something here and there. I know I'm in the entertainment business. I know a lot of people that have had two stories, like one, okay, that was great. Now I need a lot of therapy. Like that didn't change anything. Or two, just like, this is exactly why I did it. But for you, it's been like really
It's been totally
life
life
changing.
changing. I mean, just even like how I feel in clothing and, feeling comfortable to like, have my shirt open a little bit. Or I don't know, just when I go to a party, I feel like I can shine a little bit more, which has been so nice. And I had so much done. I mean, it was really a risk. Like there was, I mean, not like a medical risk, but there was a lot to go wrong, but thankfully I had a fabulous surgeon, an amazing team. And after a month of, some difficult healing, the result for me was really magical.
Well, we also saw your relationship front and center this season. I mean, has Raed, like, how has he adjusted to like kind of having it all out there for him? Because we saw a lot more of him this season.
Raed's really enjoy. I mean, he's a much more extroverted person than I am, so he's loving it. He's living it up. Me, I'm like, oh, let me stay home. Raed's like, no, we need to go out. This is our 15 minutes. So I think he's enjoying it. He likes it. I think for him, he's getting a little bit of, it's not all positive. Some people are saying some negative things, like maybe he's using me. A lot of what you don't see on camera is that I, in fact, invited Raed, to come live with me. It was the middle of COVID. I was so lonely. It was New York City. It was shut down. It was a terrible, terrible time to be in New York. And I was like, please come stay with me, come live with me. And that's how the whole thing got started. So
yeah, you guys are truly like a product of COVID.
Oh,
You know, you knew each
100%.
other.
Yeah, I mean, we had been very, very good. I mean, even best friends in college, and I had lived with him in New York before. When I first moved to the city, I lived with him in his studio apartment, and we've got a really long journey.
And what the comments are just like, oh, you were already on the show.
Yeah, and he'd been on a few like talent competitions before this. So, people see that and everyone, wants to make a judgment on the relationship. Like, are you using Robert or that kind of thing? But what they don't see is the 20-year track record and history of really us using each other in life. Because when you're partners, that's what you do.
That is what you do. Well, we saw you also, your relationship being like you guys were not on the same page with whether the relationship was going to be open or not. Walk me through, like, I understand his like going on his DAs and his dick appointments. I've never heard as an open relationship going on actual dates and just getting to know people. And then, so talk to me about that. We saw you go on these dates.
Yeah, that was like the worst. I was the worst person to go on a date with. I mean, looking back at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy, why he stayed there and waited for me for an hour, sat there and listened to my bullshit. I mean, the open relationship thing to me is still very much an open conversation. We really haven't closed the chapter on that because for me, it's still, I grew up in Texas. I have this heteronormative idea of what a relationship should be. And sometimes it still triggers a little insecurity for me. So it's really still an open conversation for us. I think what was really healthy about the show is it forced us to have the conversation and it forced us to have a lot of conversation around it, which then made the topic more comfortable. And then I felt like I could express myself more and he felt like he could express himself more. So in a way, the show is a little bit of therapy in going into that issue for us. And so now at least we have like open lines of communication. I can express when something doesn't feel right to me. He certainly did around that date. Like the date felt wrong to him.